Oh man, we're back again, boys. So, I just finished this small event and holy shit, this is so damn hype. Well, as a Genshin Lore enthusiast, anything that is lore related is already hype for me. This one about Diluc is not an exciting of an event since it's just destroying monsters under a time limit, then you get primos. But the lore, the gosh darn lore is just so damn Alright, let's just get on with it before I not any more than I already have. Yeah, so I know I'm supposed to talk about the letters and stuff, but here's just some things I want to voice out about the event. Now that I think about it, Adeline is probably dismayed in the manga. They've got the same hair color and she's pretty loyal, like Elzer, aka the one handling most of the major affairs in the winery. And he's this good looking fella in the manga, I think. Alright, let's talk about his outfit for a bit. So he wears this cool freaking outfit during covert missions. It really does resemble a lot like Fatui clothing, and the vision isn't visible. Also, I feel like the chains here are a homage to his dad's delusion that he also used back then. I have no clue whatsoever when he started doing this, or so I initially thought. I'll explain later when I get to it, but let's just say that it couldn't have been before he joined the Knights, because he was like 14 when he became captain, so it must have been after the incident. Also, this idol animation is pretty sick. Not only does he have a pet falcon, this letter it was carrying is also pretty interesting, because it actually translates to something, though I won't delve into it in this video because it wasn't my research in the first place, so I'll just put a link down in the description about someone who explained it better. I think it's also worth mentioning that this camp doesn't belong to Diluc, but someone who knows of his affairs, someone who addresses him as the Dark Knight hero. For the people who don't have access or don't read his character's stories, let me bring you up to speed. So after he left the Favonius, he left everything to his servants and went on a journey to explore the world, in hopes of finding the truth about his father's death. The Fatui Harbingers started taking notice of him because he's been foiling their plans left and right, but one day, he almost died after an encounter with the Harbingers. But he was saved by an unknown individual who was part of the underground intelligence network, who's also been keeping watch over Diluc for quite some time. Then after he realized his shortcomings, he joined said group. That was also probably when he donned the new outfit. I'm saying this because I believe that whoever set up camp here and wrote the letter is probably a member of that group. In this part, he sort of clarifies even further why he refuses to ask the Knights for help. He may have a grudge on them, but he still cares about Mondstadt after all. The situation is similar to Diluc's story quest back then, when he had to distract the Knights so Diluc can deal with the main problem. Here, he knows that Varka brought a lot of Knights with him on his expedition. Sending people to guard the ley line would only make the city more vulnerable if the ley line served as a distraction. It does work well in his favor though, since he prefers doing things by himself. But that doesn't mean he doesn't completely need their help. After all, he already learned from his near-death experience that working with other people is a must. Now the letters. For this letter with a rough handwriting, I'm gonna guess it's from Varka, the current Grand Master and the Knight of Boreas himself, who's currently out on an expedition while taking 4/5 of the freaking Knights with him. Goddamn. This letter, or almost all these letters, basically say something about his father, Creepus, who died while fighting Ursa in the manga. So Varka shares his sympathy about the death of his father and also acknowledges the fact that Diluc is going on an adventure by himself. Take note that these notes, except for the new one we just placed, are from the past. He also mentions of Irok, aka the person who triggered Diluc's resignation of being a knight. He preferred to hide the fact that Creepus, who he calls a mere businessman, managed to stop the dragon by himself, as it will give the Ordo Favonius a bad reputation. Varka assigned Jean to punish Irok for this. Well, I was sure that it was definitely Varka who wrote this letter until I saw these texts in parentheses. Is Varka really that chill of a guy? But yeah, I think it would make sense that one of these letters were actually Varka's, since Diluc actually responded. I actually almost missed these. Well, he basically politely declined his offer to join the Knights again. This tidily written letter is obviously Alice's letter, because she mentioned how nice he is to Clear regardless of how he's feeling. She's seen him when he was still this innocent and chatty boy. She also sends her condolences about his father and gives a few life advice. This letter with a clear handwriting is probably from Elzer. There's only two people I think who addresses Diluc as their master, and that's either Elzer or Adeline. But Adeline was mentioned in this letter, so it's most likely Elzer. He talks about how Kaya suddenly stayed over the manor for a couple of days while Diluc was still absent. This letter with an elegant handwriting, I think, is written by Jean. The letter was straight to the point with what Diluc wants to hear, so it's most likely her. Also, she still treats him as her superior and addresses him formally. Diluc responded with him commending Jean for doing the right thing about Irok's case. This neatly written letter is obviously from Albedo. They did ask him for help to investigate the ley lines. There's also a mention about his focus on alchemy, so there's that. He basically explains how ley lines work and how they store past events. He also mentions about a method to activate them and use them to record information, and that some members of the Abyss Order may have an idea on how to do so. Now we know why he tortures them. This new letter was most probably from a member of the Underground Intelligence Network. I'm only assuming this because both this and the letter in the prologue both addressed him the same way. It gave a status report about what the Knights Knights have been doing and that he or she had been scouting Dragonspine. It mentions that the monsters there don't seem to be associated with Abyss Order. If that's also the case with other locations, then the current leyline disorder may not have been caused by them. Yeah, so basically up until now, we still don't know what caused this red leyline to appear. There's 9 more letters located on the left side of the manor, which is most likely written by his younger stepbro, Kaya. It tells a progressive report about how Irok was being thrown out of his position and that Varka's team had been handling the investigation at one point but eventually was passed to Jean. His sudden disappearance was also mentioned. There's also a mention of a group of suspicious businessmen who seems to be looking for Diluc. If I had to guess though, these guys might have been part of the underground group. What sold me into believing that Kaya wrote this letter is the mention of the eye patch in the 5th letter and how he knew that Batman was actually Bruce Wayne. Diluc. Yeah, these two's relationship keep on confusing me, but it is good to see that even though both of them don't care about each other, deep inside they still really do, or maybe did. It's also nice to see that Diluc's character development keeps on improving. He's definitely learned a lot since his near-death experience with the Harbingers. But keep in mind, he took down Fatui camps without the use of his vision, but that was probably when he started using his father's delusion, though it still really bothers me that his outfit doesn't show a vision, but I'm certain he still uses one because of this animation. Or maybe... is that it? But yeah, that's it. Bye. Wait, what? I missed this, what the f-